In Maine, 183,310 people are struggling with hunger, and of them, 50,520 are children. 1 in 7 people struggles with hunger. 1 in 5 children struggle with hunger. In Kennebec County, the food insecurity rate is 14%. Estimated number per individual is 16,970 out of 120,953. In Somerset County, the food insecurity rate is 15.6%. Estimated number per individual is 8,030 out of 51,363 individuals. Food insecurity in Maine is 25% worse than the national average, and is worse now than it was during the height of the Great Recession. So the question is, can you give me one concrete step you will take when you are elected to solve food insecurity in Maine? I'm going to start at this end.
First thing I would do is I would set up a committee, and I would have representatives from the churches, from the public school systems, from the private school systems, legislators, insurance companies, and employers. And I would get a handle on how many children actually wake up on a daily basis and are unable to get the food that they need for that day. And because I think we lack a consolidated planning plan to get us through. And, we're not going to be able to really address any subject until we start with a plan which addresses this, which, where people can research and find out what the truth is and stop using anecdotal information.
All right, I'm going to rattle off a few things. I think we should make food stamps, be able to make people who receive food stamps be able to buy community and support agriculture shares. Look at people out of the house and supporting our local farmers. I think that would be a great thing. I think expanding kind of where WIC is used. WIC is for the women and children thing. If that can be used at farmers markets frequently now, like food stamps are able to. The other thing I would say is we need to secure and increase funding for Meals on Wheels, because one of the most effective ways to prevent rehospitalization in elderly people is keep them food secure and have, make sure that they're getting something, a nutritious meal a day that's actually elderly. And you get a big bang for your buck because it's very volunteer driven. And I also was just reading today about an excellent program, volunteer driven, where people cook meals for elderly neighbors. That's something I was just thinking, this is something I may want to do to figure out how to do this in Waterville, because that seems like a great idea, because I often run into folks who are food insecure. Sometimes they bring them over a jar of my dad's homemade tomato sauce when that happens. But I think it's a really important thing that we could be doing more about. So there's a few ideas there.
I definitely think that we need to focus on stopping the slide from one generation into the next with regard to food insecurity. If 1 in 7 people are struggling, but 1 in 5 children are, that means our children are less food secure than we are. And that has to stop. We need to stop trying to punish children for the perceived moral failings of their parents. Whether a child's parents are able or willing to work, or whatever their personal struggles are in life, we need to make sure that children are able to get the food they need. As president of the Kiwanis Club of Greater Waterville, I've worked to set up a backpack program for Benton, Winslow, and Waterville schools. And the one thing I've run into in that has amazed me is people don't know these statistics, and people really don't understand that 40 packets of food for a week at each of those schools scratches the surface of the need that we're seeing. And I think we need to have more education, because I don't think anybody in the general public really wants children to be food insecure. I think a lot of people don't know what's happening, and we need to do a better job of making sure they know.
It's a lot cheaper to screw something up than it is to fix it. And that's one of the reasons that we're having this and other problems. One of the things that occurred to me when I looked at this is every town has tillable land that's not being touched. It would be, I think, a good start to have each town encouraged and maybe get a little seed money to start to take a look at where is that land in the town and see how much of it people will be willing to offer or allow to be used for community gardens. Community gardens are all well and good, but there's a second part that goes to it. People need to be educated on how to use those garden plots, because if they're not, half of them will give up in frustration. But I think that's at least one common sense way of addressing the problem.
Well, this is interesting. I don't think that I've ever really seen the fact that tells me that there's a 14% rate of food insecurity in Kennebec County, and that's pretty horrible. I think that we need to teach our people that are able to farm. I remember when I first moved into the city, I was only 12 miles out, but when I first came into Augusta, there were little parcels of land that you could rent and, grow some of your own food. And I know from participating in our food bank in Augusta that we raise money for many backpacks that get sent home with children, and it's really sad that we have to do this. So I think schools is a good place for our teachers to get back to community leaders and let them know how many young students don't have food insecurity, because if the students don't, there's a very good chance that the parents don't as well. And we need to teach people to farm and do better at fixing this, and I don't think that we have.
I look at the food insecurity situation with the most concern for food insecurity with Maine's kids. That, in my view, is a ticking time bomb, because we have seen time and again research suggests acute childhood experiences such as food insecurity simply result in additional social costs when kids grow up and become adults. And so my priority would be to focus our efforts, our primary efforts, on solving the problem with kids. And you do that, I believe, through the school system, through creating a program where we are, through the Department of Agriculture, matching local resources through incentives. A local farmer spoke to me about a Department of Agriculture program for the elderly, and it seems to me that our state agriculture program could spend some time looking at resources devoted specifically for kids.
My husband and I have a little bit of experience working in schools overseas, and something that always struck me was the schools we worked in, the kids have much more of a hand in taking care of the building, of preparing food and things like that. I think there's a huge missed opportunity in schools. 3 of our 4 kids are in elementary school now, and there's a huge missed opportunity in school gardens. I walk past our school garden every day when I take my preschooler in, and there's all this land, and no one's working it. There's a garden, someone planted it, it's not really doing well, no one's tending it. And it's a missed opportunity to reconnect children with where the food comes from. And it's one of the reasons why we went and started our own farm. We raise our own meat, we raise our own vegetables. I do my slaughtering. And there's a connection of knowing where the food comes from, and something we're very passionate about. And I think that should be taught in schools. I think the kids should have their hands in the dirt and know where food comes from, and then be able to take it home. Make those gardens bigger. I think there's also an opportunity to reach out to families who are very destitute and look at where they live. Do they live in an apartment? Do they live in a small home? What land do they have? How can you teach them to farm with whatever it is that they have, whether it be a pot garden or, small pot outside? There's missed opportunities.
Could you
say pot farmer?
You know, you roll in that container garden.
Hi, Jan Paulson, blueberry farmer. So this is an issue every August for us because we have excess produce. And I'm sure there are lots of farmers who are in the same category. It would be great to have a network to find some way to gather all that excess food. I work with local economic ministries to get volunteers in to pick blueberries and then take them to their food pantries. But I think it needs to be on a much larger scale. I think, however, the most important factor in food insecurity is income. And that means that there are many families that just are not making enough money to make ends meet. I think increasing the minimum wage has been a great start in that direction, but we also need to invest in those communities that have a surplus of workers and a deficit of work. So the state needs to make those kinds of commitments to those communities so they no longer have to be on programs that are demeaning.
Thank you. It's Karen Kusiak. Thank you, Representative Madigan, for your idea about being able to use food stamp benefits for CSA's community-supported agriculture. That makes great sense to me. I wouldn't have thought of that, and I'm with you. Let's introduce that bill. And thank you, Representative Ackley, for your reinforcement of the idea that we really should be focusing on children. Because one of the thoughts I had in relationship to thinking about this question was making sure that schools are using all of the opportunities that they have to provide what's called feeding programs. So school lunch programs have federal support to offer summer food for summer feeding programs. Again, that's what they're called. Out in the community at recreational sites, or children can come into the school district. So I certainly want to encourage school districts and school nutrition programs to support those summer programs, vacation programs, and also the breakfast programs and the snack programs that are available. After that, I just want to assure folks that the government assistance programs are very well run, very stringent. People, if they qualify for benefits, they eventually have to re-qualify. It's not, that they're always going to be receiving the services. I think my time is up.
I think a lot of the good ideas have already been said. So when I was in the legislature, I worked with a bipartisan coalition of Republicans, Independents, and Democrats on issues of childhood hunger. And specifically, there's a coalition called the Full Plates, Full Potential Coalition that's been doing a lot of policy work in this area and looking at expanding access to school breakfast. We were able to work on legislation to do that. Facilitating modernizing the school lunch program, and I co-sponsored a bill with Senator Joyce Maker, Republican from Washington County, one to prohibit schools from using denial of school lunches as punishment for kids. And I had another bill that passed, but we need to take it to the next level, to try to create a statewide online technology for signing up for the school lunch program, so that parents could do it at home, kids could do it at home. Kids who are moving from district to district because of transient family situation would stay enrolled. Their information would follow them. I think improving access to some of the programs that we have and supporting those, because, as Representative Ackley said, if children don't have food, they can't learn, and it has significant long-term consequences for our society.